For 25 years, Choi Cheol-su monitored North Korean citizens for the regime's Organization and Guidance Department. He wrote reports on who forgot their lapel pin, who arrived late, who complained. Then in December 2018, the government ordered all party members to replace their badges, two leaders' portraits for one. Within months, colleagues who refused were disappearing. Today, you'll hear how a lifelong enforcer of the system became its target, risking everything to escape to freedom but having to leave his son behind. Join us in standing up for human rights. Subscribe to hear more stories of freedom. My name is Choi Cheol-su. I'm 56 years old. I've been in South Korea for over 5 years now. The story I'm about to share is about a party official who left his homeland all because of a single badge. I lived on Changgwang Street in Pyongyang's Jung district, 14th floor of a 20-story apartment. It was where the city's elite lived. My father was a Korean War veteran. Because of his service, our family earned the right to live in Pyongyang. I graduated from Kim Il-sung University with a degree in political economy. The party assigned me to the Organization and Guidance Department. Our job was to monitor party members, their lives, their thoughts. I worked there for 25 years. Eventually, I became Deputy Section Chief of Party Life Inspection. My job was simple: check if members were living correctly, make sure their ideology stayed pure, write reports, who showed up late to meetings, who forgot their lapel pin, who complained. I documented everything. I took pride in that work. I believed I was protecting the system. Every morning I stood before the mirror. That's when I'd pin the badge to my left chest. Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong Un, two portraits engraved on one small badge. Without it, you couldn't leave your home. In 25 years, I never forgot it once. That badge was how my day began. My wife Sun Hee worked at a light industry factory. My son Min Hyuk was a People's Army officer, 28. My daughter Youngmi was a doctor, 25. I was happy. A decent apartment in Pyongyang. Recognized as a party official. My children had done well. My mother passed in 2017. She was from South Hamgyong province. Before she died, she kept talking about home. Cheol-su, I miss the ocean in Hamhung. I thought it was just an old woman's memories. I didn't understand how a homesickness could hurt, how leaving home could break you. Until fall 2018, leaving Pyongyang never crossed my mind. I'd never doubted the system. I was one of its guardians. So why did I cross the Tumen River 5 years ago, abandoning everything? The reason was simple: a single badge. It was a Monday morning in December 2018. Something felt different. Colleagues in the hallway barely nodded before rushing past. At 9 a.m., an emergency meeting was called. About 100 of us gathered in the third-floor conference room, the entire Organization and Guidance Department. The deputy director stepped onto the platform. He began reading from a thin document. This is a decision from Party Central. The dual portrait badges will be phased out. We recommend wearing the single portrait of Supreme Commander Kim Jong Un. Recommend. We all knew what that meant. In this country, recommendation was an order. Badge replacement will be voluntary. However, all party members must demonstrate clear loyalty to the Supreme Commander. The room stayed silent. No one raised a hand. Questions meant suspicion. The meeting ended in 10 minutes. I sat at my desk, staring at nothing. 25 years I'd worn that badge. Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong Un. Now they wanted me to remove it? At lunch, the cafeteria was quiet. Comrade Park sat beside me. He spoke in a low voice. "What will you do, Comrade Choi?" They said it's recommended. Of course we'll comply. Right. We have to. At home, all I could think about was that badge. My wife asked, "Honey, did something happen today?" I couldn't tell her. In this country, you had to be careful even with family. That night, sleep wouldn't come. It's just a badge. You wear it and move on, right? But something felt wrong. Something was shifting. This time felt different. The next morning, I stood before the mirror. Like always, I pinned on the dual portrait badge. I could still wear it. For now, but I knew. It was only a matter of time. On the subway, I started watching people's chests. Who wore which badge? Soon, monitoring this would be my job. At my desk, a new directive was waiting. Each section will submit weekly reports on badge-wearing status of all members. The work had begun. Inspecting badges. Categorizing people. Monday morning, I compiled the list. 35 party members in our section. I had to check which badge each one wore. Name, rank, badge type. But in my head, there was another classification. Single portrait, no problem. Dual portrait, subject to observation. No badge, ideological suspicion. subject to disposition. That phrase wouldn't leave my mind. Walking the hallways, I watched people's chests. I stopped looking at faces, just badges. People started to notice. Greetings became brief. Some covered their chests as they walked. A week passed. 18 of 35 had switched to the single portrait. 17 still wore the old badge. I was one of them. Writing the report, I included my own name. Deputy Section Chief Choi Cheol-su dual portrait maintained. For 25 years, I'd recorded others. Now I was being recorded. The deputy director spoke. Comrade Choi, you still haven't changed? Hurry up. It doesn't look good. Meaning they're watching from above. That evening, my son Min-hyuk called. Father, the atmosphere in the military is strange. Officers are watching each other over badges. What about you, Father? I haven't changed yet either. Then change quickly. The next week came. 28 had switched to single portraits. Only 7 kept the old badge. The deputy director called me in. The list goes upstairs. Think about your family. A threat. Soft-spoken, but a threat. I opened my desk drawer. Inside was the new badge. Kim Jong Un's portrait alone. Just a badge. You wear it and move on. But I couldn't. My daughter Young-mi came home. Father, everyone at the hospital is talking about it. Doctors have to change too. Doesn't this seem strange? Young-mi, don't talk like that. Watch your words. But my daughter felt it too. Something was wrong. January 2019, Deputy Director Kim got summoned. 2 years my senior. We'd worked together for 20 years. Survived the arduous march together. He was a good man. He'd insisted on keeping the dual portrait. I want to serve both President Kim Il-sung and General Kim Jong-il. Days later, his desk was empty. The director made an announcement. Comrade Kim has gone to the Party Re-education Center for ideological study. 3 days later, Deputy Director Kim returned. But he'd changed. His face was gaunt. His eyes were dead. And on his chest, the single portrait. I passed him in the hallway. Comrade Kim, are you all right? Yes, I'm fine. He didn't look at me. This wasn't the Kim I knew. A week later, as we left work, he walked past me. His voice was barely a whisper. Comrade Choi, change it quickly. The badge. Don't wait too long. His eyes were full of fear. A warning. A colleague's final warning. Deputy Director Kim and I had worked together for 20 years. We'd shared meals, drinks. That man became someone else in 3 days because of a badge. That night, real fear set in. Kim could have been me. I might be next. I stood before the mirror. 25 years I'd worn this badge. Now it was dangerous. My wife asked, Honey, what's wrong? Nothing. I'm fine. But I wasn't fine. The next day on the subway, I saw Deputy Director Kim again. He stood in the corner, avoiding people. The single portrait on his chest said it all. I surrendered. Soon I'd be the same. But I still couldn't change it. A final resistance. Meaningless, but mine. February came. People started disappearing. First was Section Chief Lee. He came to work without any badge. I think all of this is wrong. The next day, he didn't show up. His desk remained. Papers left unsorted. He's unwell. Under medical care. No one believed it. A week later, Assistant Manager Choi vanished. In March, Secretary Kang. Empty desks multiplied. Secretary Kang's family came to collect his things. His wife's eyes were swollen from crying. 20 years of a man's life fit into 2 boxes. That was all. The office grew quieter. No one laughed out loud anymore. That evening, my wife was crying. Sunja's husband. They took him away. Sunja was Secretary Kang's wife, my wife's friend. Honey, you're okay, right? You changed your badge? She looked at my chest. Still the dual portrait. Honey, her face went pale. Why haven't you changed it yet? Soon I will. Not soon now. My wife, who'd never raised her voice at me, was shouting. If they take you too, what happens to us? What about Young-mi, Min-hyuk? She grabbed my hands. They were trembling. Honey, please. It's just a badge. Just change it. She was right. But something was fundamentally wrong. A system that categorized people, dragged them away, erased them all over a badge. That night, my son Min-hyuk called. Father, I'm getting married. Why so suddenly? The atmosphere feels strange lately. I want to start a family quickly. It seems safer. My 28-year-old son was worried about safety. My son was afraid. My wife was trembling, all because of a badge. No, because of a system that treated people as tools. That night I made my decision. I had to leave. One Monday in April, the deputy director called me in. Comrade Choi, know what this is? An investigation report. About you. My heart stopped. Orders came from above. Conduct thorough investigations of all officials who haven't changed badges. He began reading from the document. Deputy Section Chief Choi Cheol-su, 25 years in organization and guidance. Loyalty satisfactory. However, mother from Hamgyong province. Suspected of having relatives in the south during the Korean War. Refused badge replacement for 3 months. Possible ideological wavering. Something from 70 years ago was a problem now. Comrade Choi, I know you. But those above see things differently. In this country, there's no just because. Every action has a reason. Every reason reveals ideology. You have a family, a son, a daughter. Change the badge by tomorrow. Submit a self-criticism. Self-criticism, too. That's how you survive. 25 years I'd served the system. Now I was under suspicion. On my way home, my daughter Youngmi called. Father, state security came to the hospital today. They asked about me. About you. State security was moving. When I got home, my wife opened the door. Honey, state security was here today. Asking about you. Son, I'm sorry. Honey, what's going to happen to us? She started crying. That night I decided. I had to leave. Changing the badge wouldn't be enough. I was already a target. Eventually, they'd take me. I opened my drawer. An old phone number for a broker in China. Years ago, a colleague had quietly given it to me. Just in case. Keep it. I'd laughed it off then. But now I understood. Even a loyal party member could become a suspect overnight. Over a badge. I pocketed the number. I had no other choice. The next day, I called from a payphone. Comrade Kim referred me. Saturday evening. 7 p.m. Small bridge behind Moranbong. Saturday. I told only my wife and daughter. We have to leave. To South Korea. What about brother? What about Min Hyuk? My heart was tearing apart. We can't take Min Hyuk. He's military. If he deserts, they'll track him immediately. Then what happens to him? When reunification comes, we'll see him again. 7 p.m. I met the broker. $1,000 per person. Get ready within 2 weeks. I exchanged money secretly at the market. A week later, the call came. May 15th. 11 p.m. Come to Hyesan area. I visited my mother's grave. Mother, I'm leaving now. To the free land you longed for. Tears came. I called my son Min Hyuk one last time. Min Hyuk, your father loves you very much. Father, why are you suddenly saying this? Just stay healthy. Take care. This might be the last time. May 15th. I went to work as usual. Leaving the office, I turned back one last time. Goodbye. 10 p.m. We boarded a train to Hyesan. We reached the meeting point. The broker was waiting. We walked through darkness for about an hour. The Tumen River appeared. Cross now. You have 30 minutes. I stepped into the cold water. It rose to my waist. Halfway across, lights appeared. Get down. A patrol. My heart was pounding. The lights passed. Now, move. We ran. Finally, we reached the other side. China. We did it. We made it. We held each other and cried. We hid in China for 6 months. Ethnic Korean compatriots and pastors helped us. Through Thailand, we reached the Korean embassy. I seek protection as a citizen of the Republic of Korea. December 2019, we finally set foot in South Korea. Incheon Airport. It was night, but everything was bright. People walked freely. No one wore badges. We spent 3 months at Hanwon, learning about South Korean society, democracy, freedom. Walking into a convenience store that stayed open 24 hours amazed me. Supermarkets were mountains of fruit and meat. On the subway, people watched news and movies on smartphones. Can I see North Korean news too? Of course. The government provided housing. I worked at a factory. When I got my first paycheck, tears came. Youngmi became a nursing assistant. My wife worked at a restaurant. Honey, I'm happy. We were happy. But one part of my heart always ached. Because of Min Hyuk. No letters. No calls. Just missing him. When North Korean news came on TV, I watched intently, hoping to catch a glimpse of my son. 5 years have passed. I've adapted to South Korean society now. But my North Korean accent hasn't completely faded. I'm truly happy. Walking freely. Speaking my mind. Living without a badge. But I never forget what I did for 25 years. I inspected people. Divided them by a badge. I was a perpetrator. Then I became a victim. The same thing is still happening in North Korea. Min Hyuk is still there. My son was 28 then. He's 33 now. Did he get married? Am I a grandfather? But I pray for reunification. To see my son again. You might wonder what's a badge, just a small piece of metal. But that one badge divided people. For 25 years I upheld that system. Then I became its victim. My son is still in that land without freedom. Will we meet again someday? Will there be reunification? I wait for that day. I pray every day for our nation to become one again. For a world where people aren't divided by something like a badge. Thank you.